Hey guys, I'm back, and I got kind of a video, but a little project we're going to do today as well. So, Griptilians, Benchmade, relatively affordable as Benchmades go. Rugged knives, comes in a lot of different options. One of the things that people love to do is replace the plastic scales and handles that they come with customized ones of various kinds. And for a long time, there was not a lot available. One of the kind of oldest and best custom options for your Griptilian is made by Wilkins. Wilkins kind of was one of the first big in the market G10 replacement scales for Griptilians. Now there's a lot of different options. I make custom Griptilian scales. I even make a lightweight Griptilian where I replace the steel inset liners with carbon fiber or G10 or something. Like, there's a lot you can do with them. But Wilkins is one of the oldest and still best G10 and other material replacements for Griptilian plastic scales. This color is fairly unique. He calls it swimming pool green. I love this one. I got this just to have something special and unique to mount this this Damascus blade. This is by Snake River Knives. It's a custom made Damascus Benchmade 551 blade, and it all comes together really nicely in a special package here. This one I have the original Benchmade clip on, but Wilkins now makes their own deep carry clips too. Wilkins also has a line of Griptilian blades that you can replace. So you can replace the Griptilian blade with just a regular, Griptilian in the original handle, or you can replace the whole thing. So I had to get my hands on one, and I figured if I was going to do that, I'm going to go all out. I ordered an anodized titanium handle for the whole thing to put it all in. And like, his production value is just super high. Awesome. We got the blade, we've got the Wilkins brand deep carry clip, and we're going to put it all together today. And you'll see, like, really, this is a very simple procedure to transfer, all of the Griptilian pieces from a standard handle into a Wilkins grip, or just about any other, custom handle that you're going to put it into, for that matter. Before we do that, though, we've got some shout-outs we're going to get to, because I've skipped them a little bit. So the first one goes to Philip Knight. Philip Knight is a fan that I was supposed to meet before I left Florida. I didn't get a chance to. Things just didn't work out, but I understand he loves my videos. He's binge watched them like a lot, and so special shout out to you, Philip. Thanks for supporting the channel and watching. Kain White missed their birthday on the 27th of September because they just let me know, but Kain requested a shout out, so there you go. TheAwkwardPrick has a birthday coming up on the 25th, and Nate Cable has a birthday coming up on the 27th. They would like a shout out. And rounding out today's shout outs, BiggieVapes and his son Parker. He says they watch all my videos together, and it would be huge for Parker to hear his name and a shout out. So Parker, thanks for watching, little man. I really appreciate it. You're awesome. Dad's awesome. The viewers are the most important part of the channel, always. So now let's get to this whole procedure that we're gonna do. Let's take a look first at the blade. And he packaged it really well in there. Oh, it's taped in there, see? Now, I have the internal components from another Griptilian that, isn't, you'll see I just have spare pieces in here we're going to use. I'm going to disassemble this one. This is a 551 H2O that we're going to use just to demonstrate the process, but we're not actually going to put that in there. The blade that we're going to use is a S30V. It's just an awesome design. It's got a really nice finish to it. If you want to compare that to the original 551, I don't have the 550 out here, the modified sheep's foot that has the thumb hole in it, but this is nicer. Trust me, much nicer. So again, we're gonna be taking the internal mechanics from another Griptilian, the pivot, the liners and everything, the Omega springs for the access lock. We're gonna be installing it in here. So basically, from Wilkins, we're gonna be using the blade, we're gonna be using the handle, we're going to be using the clip. Everything else comes from a Benchmade itself. So in order to get your Griptilian disassembled, and by the way, doing this is going to void your warranty, so mental note, you're going to need a small Phillips head to take the clip off. you're going to need a T10 and a T6. And T6 will also fit these handle screws. And that's about it. Just to have to avoid switching bits in the middle of everything, I'm going to use 2 different screwdrivers for this procedure just to make it a little bit easier. I'm going to use one that's T10, one that's T6. Now you only need to take the clip off if you're using the original Benchmade clip on the Wilkins grip, or whatever else you're using, because this clip is anchored into the plastic itself. You'll see how that works. It's not into the steel liners at all. Once that's done, I like to take out the pivot first. Now when this comes fresh out of the factory, there's a chance it's going to be Loctited, so you might need to heat it up a little bit to loosen that Loctite. You don't want to strip anything there. That comes out very easily. And then putting a little back pressure on the springs, you can pop that pivot right out, and you should get your washers and your blade. And then we can take out the 2 screws that pretty much hold the liners to the plastic. And then you've got your 3 screws that hold the handle together. The reason this one comes apart so easily is because this is the H2O. This is made of the special corrosion resistant steel that Benchmade uses, X15TN. So not N680, not N690. This model was made specifically for corrosion resistance. So this is what I'll use if I go to the beach or something like that and I carry one with me. It's been disassembled for cleaning several times, which is why it comes apart so easily. Once you do that though, you've got your internal liners, you've got your Omega springs. You don't have to do anything else at this point to take this thing, break it down anymore, to put it into your Wilkins grip or whatever else you're using. Now if you wanted to, you could strip all this down for cleaning. I'm not going to do that right now. Somebody's in trouble over there. We're going to leave this right here. What I'm going to do is in this little box of spare parts, I've got some that are already disassembled because I've been working on stuff. Right here, I've been working on a 550 with an Emerson wave type opener. It works. I just need to put it in a handle now. You can see I've got several spare parts floating around. So what I'm going to need to make this happen is I'm going to need a pivot, which I have right here, the screw and the nut. I'm going to need the liners with the axis lock itself, and I need to find that little post that holds that all together. I'm also going to need some washers. Now these washers are a little bit old. I'm just going to buff them out a little bit and refurbish them before I put everything in there. These are the screws. They match the ones we took out that mount the liners to the handle. So I want everything to kind of match here, so I'm using the black hardware that I have. And you can see it comes completely milled out with an aluminum backspacer to go in there, and everything is set to receive this. Now I'm just gonna pause for a minute and clean that up because this has been sitting around for a while and that's pretty gross looking. So all I really did was just some warm, soapy, grease fighting dish soap and wash these by hand. Now you can refurbish these washers really well if you want, and I have a video where I show that. I'm pretty sure I uploaded it. I don't know if I did or not. If not, I'll have to redo that video. I'll check, and if I actually have that video online, you'll see a link to that video in the description on how you can kind of renew your bronze washers and get them all nice and fancy looking and smooth. But I mean, these will do. And in a pinch, you just rub them against each other real nice and easy, just to sort of work out any burrs or anything that might have roughed them up a little bit, and they should be good to go. But look in the description to see if I have a whole video about how to really, really buff these out really nicely. But they're going to work fine for what we're doing here. Once the internal components are all washed and ready, we're just going to reassemble this. Really simple. Put the big pin in front, put the little pin in back. Lay them together there. Put our Omega spring back in. And then there's, see these little tiny holes? They just latch right in there. 1 and 2, and good to go. Really doesn't matter which side you start working with. I just like working with this side because this is the side that we're going to put the pivot nut in. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to use the first screw to secure this to the handle so it's not going anywhere. I'll just lay the second side in there. And already it's coming together. Now we've got some looseness over there, and that's fine because when we put the back spacer in and we put these screws back, it's going to hold position for us. And the knife is mostly assembled already. So now we're ready to install our blade. I really like using Tough Glide. Liberty oil is another good one. The white stuff that you saw on here is Extreme Weapons grease. I just use that again because I take this out in salt water and everything. It's a little bit more water resistant, doesn't wash away or anything. It does attract dirt though, so I'm going to use the Tough Glide on here since this is, yes, it's a liquid, but it's like it's a dry graphite lubricant. It's a suspension and all this other stuff. It's really cool stuff. Really, really good stuff. So if you can see, I'm going to position the pivot nut in there so that it's just flush with the liner. I'm going to let it rest. I'm just going to give the blade a wipe down, make sure that it doesn't have any kind of production oil or grease on it. I have a little bit of Windex on here just to clear any of that off. A little coating of our oil. We'll put the first washer on, and we'll drop our first washer, and that's cool. Now in order to get this to fit all the way through, you're going to have to pull the axis lock back a little bit. You just want it enough that it's holding the blade in place, and then we can put the next washer in. And you're going to get some excess oil on there, that's fine. It's not going to hurt it or anything. We'll slide that in and make sure it gets in place. And finish pushing the pivot all the way through. Now, what I like to do is, see how when I tighten that up, made it totally flush? What I like to do is start with it tight, just as tight as it'll go. And now we have this basically a brand new Griptilian shape, right? We just have the internal mechanisms, but we have the Wilkins blade, we have the Wilkins grip. Looks nice. Very, very tight. It's not going to go anywhere very easily though. So I will just loosen it up enough to get the action that I want out of it in small little increments. So we don't want any blade play. We want it perfectly centered, but we want it to easily move. And I like to leave it just about here so it breaks in nicely. Now you could Loctite this if you wanted. I usually don't. I leave it adjustable. I think that is a beautiful blade. It's basically almost a whole new knife, right? It's almost not even a Griptilian. I mean, it's Wilkins blade, it's Wilkins handle. Only thing we're missing now is the clip, so let's get the clip out. Now the clip is a silvery color. Unfortunately, it doesn't really match the rest, but I'm okay with that. That center hole goes to nothing, by the way. So it's got 3 holes so it can accept the original Benchmade clip with 3 screws, but the Wilkins clip just holds on with these 2. And when I'm putting these on, I like to alternate a little bit. I don't want to tighten one side all the way down. I want them to tighten evenly so there's no stress, that the clip is nice and straight. So now, whole new knife ready. Beautiful anodized titanium. That's an amazingly sweet blade. Wilkins he's a great custom knife designer. His stuff is really, really high-end, super expensive. He's made a few different designs for Spyderco. that are really, really nice, and this blade is beautiful. I love it. I like it better than any of the actual Griptilian blades. Up to a regular 550 blade right now, and you can see the difference. It's an awesome, awesome blade. So switching out your Griptilian for, you know, customization is actually pretty easy. A little bit of practice, and you can do it almost blindfolded. Stuff is not cheap at all, but it's a beautiful way to make a Griptilian really unique. You don't have to, again, you don't have to buy the Wilkins blade. You can just put your regular Griptilian blade in there. Hope you guys enjoyed seeing this process. I love the look of this one. I think that anodized titanium is a much classier look than a fake rainbow anodization colored coated piece of steel. And it, you know, it's something that improves over time. Well, that's it for this one. I'm gonna clean this mess up and put this in my temporary collection area right now. Maybe I'll carry it for the rest of the day. Heavy son of a bitch too. Before I go, remember, questionsfordocp@gmail.com for our upcoming Q&A video, part 2. Got 6 Patreon supporters right now, and they're all getting something special that you guys will see a video on really soon. Please consider going over to Patreon and being a supporter there. I'll put a link to the Patreon page in the video description as well. But regardless of whether you do that or not, you guys are awesome. I've got the best viewers in the entire world. I appreciate you guys, and I will be back again real soon.